Now this is cool. Jen Palans.
Chris Beatties.
How are you doing?
Fabulous.
You know where we are right now?
We're at 4-Star Greenhouse.
We are, and we're at 4-Star Greenhouses on April 11th, which means it is the peak of young plant production and shipping, finished plant production and shipping. I'm surprised they even let us in the greenhouse. But you know why they let us in the greenhouse? That's a quiz question. You do know why they let us in the greenhouse.
I do know why.
And it's right over here. They have put together a sneak peek at the 2024 new varieties, annuals, perennials, and shrubs from proven winners. That's pretty extraordinary. The reason being, normally we wouldn't come to 4-Star Greenhouses until August for their annual open house, which is a great event. You can find our videos about that. But that's kind of later in the season for those of you who want to maybe order some of this stuff, or at least get a look at what you might be ordering. So we convinced the Proven Winners folks to show us what you got going on and do it at a time when it does the growers some good. That's why we're here.
I can't wait to see what's new for next year. I'm so excited.
You don't have to wait long because we have an expert here. She is Kaylee Schroeder. Kaylee is the R&D supervisor here at 4-Star Greenhouses.
Yep.
And you're going to take us through some new annuals, right?
I sure am.
All right, well, let's start. I know because we got it, of course, we've already been through it once, just like we would at the California trials. We got notebooks full, but there's a lot to learn. So we're going to let the experts tell us about the new, let's start with some Superbells.
Yeah, let's start with the Superbells. These are all the double Superbells.
And Superbells, we should say Calibrachoa.
Calibrachoa.
Tell the folks what we're looking at.
Yep, and so this here is the Double Redstone. This one here is beautiful.
Show that tag so we get the name in there and everything.
There you go.
That is a real, is this the first bicolor? Well, you've got a pink one there too. But
Yep, we've had a couple bicolor, but this one is going to be one of the best ones that will sell.
Certainly the first red and yellow bicolor that I've
the
seen
first,
in the Superbells.
Yep, there is. We also have a Cardinal Star is the other bicolor one that we have that is very similar in color, just not a double flower. So very similar in color. Vigor is about a Vigor 2, so they're a little bit compact.
All right. And
Tell us real quick about that Vigor 2 also.
Yeah, so we have different vigors for different varieties. So we like to pair plants with similar vigor sizes. So we would want to put a Vigor 2 with another Vigor 2 or a Vigor 3.
So all the Proven Winners annuals are rated from a scale of what to what?
1 to 5.
1 to 5. So these are 2. More compact.
Yep,
Put them
a
with
little
the 2
more
to
compact.
3s and they'll play together nicely.
They'll play nicely
exactly.
together, that's right.
JP, pick up that pink one there.
Here we go.
We'll let you play Carol Merrill here.
That one's the Double Smitten Pink, and that one's going to be a big seller this year.
That's a great name.
Beautiful double flower
these
with the
pretty
rose pink, the darker deep pink on the center.
All right, and not a striking one or super, 55 mile an hour color one, but an important one.
Yes, the double white is going to be a nice classic bright white to put into your pots.
All right, and last but not least, this interesting, kind of almost got of a copper color.
Yep, the
to me
double
there.
vintage coral.
Vintage coral. That's nice. Now
Beautiful
that one looks a
colors.
little bit rangier, perhaps.
A little bit, and also when you bring it outside, it will pop out some more color tones. Like you can see, like on the back side, there's some
Oh, it has
darker.
some pink in there. And
Yeah,
rose.
it's just very beautiful coloring.
Looks
very
like a
classic.
sunset.
Yeah, very classic colors.
All right. So those are new Superbells.
Yep.
In the Supertunias,
Yes.
you've got an exciting introduction down here.
I love this.
This
one.
does have 55 mile an hour color.
Yes, this one's my absolute favorite. It is the Supertunia Saffron Finch, and it has that buttery yellow. So it has like the saffron yellow around the edges, and then that finch yellow, that golden finch in the center.
And you said something earlier where it doesn't do anything weird. Tell
Yeah.
us about that, what it does in the summer.
Yeah, so it just has like it has nice branching. So it has a little bit more uniform, more flowering at the top, more rounded shape, rather than like laggy branching that some Supertunias do.
Kaylee, what's all the hoopla about?
So this is our Supertunia Hoopla Vivid Orchid. So it has that pickety shape around the white around the
We should call that
flower.
a hoop. Since that's the name of the plant, right?
It is a hoop right around the flower there. It's just beautiful coloring, and it's gonna pop.
Are there other hooplas?
We don't have any currently, and we're hoping to make this a series down the road.
Beautiful. And it said have a real stable pattern, too.
Very stable pattern. So these will fill in full flower from spring all the way to fall. And they are self-deadheading also.
And for the grower, you said no pinches necessary for this.
Yeah.
This is how
They
it goes.
can pinch them and you can GR them, but luckily with some of these varieties, you don't have to do that as much.
All right. Another Supertunia right behind JP there, if you want to pick one. It's an improvement.
Yep, the Bermuda Beach. So this one is a wonderful improvement. As you can see, it is just covered in flowers. So even our liners that we ship out to growers, they are just perfectly like nice and tight. So we improved the flower color, so they're a little bit bigger, a lot more color. The green is a lot more vibrant and deep, nice deep green.
All right, that's beautiful. And down below we've got, well, it's part of a subcategory within the Supertunias. Explain what the Vistas and mini Vistas are,
Yeah,
and what we're
so
looking at here.
The Vistas and the mini Vistas, so they have a little bit smaller flower, as you can see, and a lot more coverage.
That's spectacular.
A little bit tighter, so you don't have to do as many GRs. So this one here is the Ultramarine, and this one here is very similar to our Royal Velvet Supertunia, but this one has smaller flowers and a lot tighter, compact, bigger.
And you said that Royal Velvet's one of your top sellers.
Yes. So it's really exciting to have this in a mini Vista.
And when you say GRs,
Yep.
that means PGRs.
Yep.
But I've just noticed, why say P? We all know it's for the plants, right? It's a growth regulator.
Yes.
That's what we say.
Yep,
I like that.
GRs.
And what do you got there, JP?
I have the Supertunia Mini Vista Sweet Sangria, which is a improvement or a replacement?
It's a replacement.
Replacement.
So it actually replaced the Supertunia Sangria. So same thing. This is a perfect, nice, compact variety, and it's a little bit earlier spring bloom. So you can plant them nice and early, a little bit in the cooler temps, and they'll bloom all the way through fall.
About 1 million consumers over 23 years have told proven winners that purple is their favorite color. But don't feel bad, Pink. You're second. And look at this beautiful pink color. It's a beautiful, clear pastel pink, but it's sort of bitoned or even tritoned. And what flower are we looking at here
This
specifically, Kaylee?
Yeah, this is a Superbena Pink Cashmere.
Pink
Nice
Cashmere.
pastel pink. Will match with a lot of like Easter colors.
Has all the same attributes of all the Superbenas that we know.
Yep, absolutely. Very similar to our whiteout. So it has a little bit bigger vigor than most of our verbenas. And it has a little bit bigger flower as well.
All right. And in a similar color vein, we're going a little more violet here, violet lavender.
Purplish.
What are we looking at with this one?
Yep, this is the Jamesbrittenia Dusk.
Now I have never gardened with Jamesbrittenia. Tell me and anyone else who's never used it, what do we do with it?
Yeah,
Jen
you can
Polans
do.
is nodding her head like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Honestly, I love them in containers, so hanging baskets. You can do these in landscape. They love dry, humid temperatures. They're also powdery mildew and downy mildew resistant. So they are just a fantastic plant for containers.
Is this going to stand up more? Is this going to
Yeah,
pull out the side? How is that going to work?
It's a mounding, trailing plant. So it'll do a little bit of trailing. It'll also be a mound.
Okay.
So that's why it's so great for in containers, also in the landscape.
And you said heat and humidity, right?
Yep.
All right, I'll give it a try. Along with another plant that'll take heat and humidity, a Coleus is going to magically sneak its way into the scene here. Tell us about this
Yep.
little guy here.
This is a Colorblaze cherry drop.
And there's a key to the name Cherry Drop.
Yep. So we have a couple other cherry drops too. So we have the strawberry drop and the chocolate drop. So these also are mounding and trailing.
They're
So
dropping. They drop out
they
of a bag.
drop. They trail out of a pot or like a hanging basket. So they're great for hanging baskets, which is very unique for a Coleus.
Yeah, right.
And one thing we did notice when looking over here, they're very sturdy and very strong.
Yes, very.
So they make a really nice monoculture. You could do monoculture with that and it would look great, or you could put it in mixed
And you know what? I
containers.
suspect that's a function of the fact that we are not looking at carefully grown trial plants like we often see. These are straight out of your production greenhouses.
Yeah.
These should be on a truck going to somebody's
Oh,
greenhouse right now, right?
Absolutely.
Sorry if they were yours, but we'll get them to you in good shape, except
right.
for the couple we dropped. Last but not, or maybe the penultimate thing we're going to talk about here in the annuals is this
The Campfire
Biddens.
Marshmallow Bidens. So this one is a series. We have the Campfire Flame. So that one has more of a bright orange. This one here, it just complements it very well with the marshmallow coloring.
This is pure white and the beautiful yellow.
Yep, and the habit is beautiful. It's definitely one of my favorites this year.
And a pollinator attractor.
Great pollinator attractor.
Could this potentially be one of those national plants of the year in the future?
It could be.
Because right behind JP is a plant that didn't have any tags or labels or anything like that. And we asked, well, why is that one in here? What are we looking at here?
That is our Gomphrena Truffula Pink plant of the year for 2024.
2024 plant of the year, Truffula Pink.
Truffula Pink.
And why did that get picked as plant of the year?
Well, as you can see, it has a very unique shape, and the color is non-stop. And you can use them for many different things. You can pull those flowers, put them in a flower arrangement, make a wreath out of it. You can do whatever you'd like. It's just full color all
right.
season long.
Another one to try in our gardens.
Yep.
That's right.
Great pollinator.
Well, that's annuals. Lots of annuals and a plant of the year from proven winners here at 4-Star Greenhouses. But I think we have some perennials to look at as well.
That's right. Those are coming next.
We have looked at annuals here at 4-Star Greenhouses, a sneak peek at what's new for 2024 from proven winners. But now we want to look at perennials from Walter's Gardens. You're not with Walter's Gardens, sir.
I am not, and I'm no perennial expert either, but I am filling in for our great friends at Walter's Gardens who couldn't make the journey across today
I think you know
due
who
to
this
some
guy
other
is. You
complications.
know who this guy is. This is Marshall Dirks, the marketing man. Well, your whole title is pretty complicated nowadays. You're the
Yeah.
one that does all the marketing for proven winners.
No, I have a team that does all the marketing, and I just get to direct a little bit. So I'm no longer a director, I'm a vice president, whatever that means. But it just means I've done it for a long time, apparently.
We're going to find out what he knows about perennials from Walter's Gardens, starting with Artemisia Silver
Lining.
Lining.
Look for the silver lining.
Give us the playbook. on
Yeah,
this
so
one, if
Silver
you would.
Lining, one of the things that people probably think about Artemisia is, oh my gosh, it's going to be invasive, it's going to take over my garden, I've got to plant in a 5-gallon bucket so my neighbors don't get it, whatever the case may be. But Artemisia, doesn't spread by underground runners at all, and doesn't go into flower either. So you're going to have this silver foliage in the landscape. But then the other great thing is, which you also see from our partner over here, Jen, is we will also feature another variety that does excellent in containers as well. So
putting perennials in containers, I think,
Yeah.
is a fabulous trend, whether
Yeah.
all perennials or perennials and annuals.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want some silver in
Absolutely.
their mixed combos?
You know, a lot of people use Draconda Falls, right? It trails out and looks gorgeous and so forth, but to have something with a much larger leaf fills that container. It's almost a filler in a container.
Right.
So great in the landscape as an edger, but then terrific in containers. And over winters, it's a zone 4 to 9. And just looks spectacular all spring through
All
fall.
right, Silver Linings,
Silver
Artemisia. Next to us over
Yep.
here, I'll take this one and put it aside.
Yep, so this is
Cucarella?
fun in games, and I believe this variety
Well,
is...
this has a long name when you put it all together.
Yes.
It took me 2 pages to write it. What was that, JP?
I'm looking at it. Capture
So
the
this
flag.
is Capture the Flag. So we have a
What's the
whole
first
bunch.
Fun,
Fun
and
and
games.
Games.
Fun and Games,
is the
Capture the
series.
Flag.
Yep, and so it's actually a cross between a heuchera and a tiarella. So it's a heucherella, so you get that early spring color of the flower. Nice early spring color.
A native.
Yes.
A native, a hybrid native.
A hybrid native, correct. A native var, if you will. And so this also works great in containers. This variety is a little bit darker veining within the center and a little bit edgier lobes that we've got going on this variety. But this is going to be great for growers early spring, flowers early, when a lot of your perennials are still flowering later in the summer months. But this one takes off early and gives you nice color throughout the summer season.
Who doesn't love that chartreuse color there?
Absolutely.
And if you need something a little more vivid and a little taller, you're going to pick that one up, Marshall, and cover yourself up with it?
Yep, so this is Luminary Prismatic Pink. And so this, like you said,
This
needs
is a phlox.
A phlox, yep. And so you need mid-range in terms of height in a bed.
But wait, how can it be a phlox? I don't see white dust all over the
Yeah,
foliage.
I'm glad you pointed that out. And I'm thankfully Ford Star and Walters doesn't ship us white dust. You know, we'll charge you extra for that if you will. But there's no mildew. And the other great thing about they will hold their leaves throughout the whole summer and fall. A lot of times you get these knobby knees. You just have a stem with yellow leaves and they die off because of mildew issues. And this has just dark, distinctive foliage all summer long. And then you also notice how strong these stems are. They can be used as cuts. They make an excellent cut. And so many more people are doing a lot more cuts and planting for cuts. And this fits that bill perfectly.
And pollinators too, right?
Pollinators are great. And it's got this luminary, you know, so it sort of shimmers in the sunshine. We don't see it right now, but it will shimmer. And it's a star just like you, Chris. So.
Oh, you flatter me. What is this crazy big thing? I've seen these in the garden before. I've never grown one of these. Though.
Yep, so this is a Bergenia. And so...
and what's the common name?
Pig squeak. And so...
Why? Tell us why.
It will, if you rub the foliage, it just makes this noise. So,
here it comes.
So I don't know who does that, but you know, this is for a plant lover. But this is for those customers who are in the garden center early. You know, so many people love the early flowering perennials that they can get, and this is early flowering, and then you have foliage throughout the whole season. Doesn't die back until the end.
What I do
It's
like
very
though is
interesting
it's got big, bold leaves in the garden. When everything else is sort of fine and frilly, you want some structure in the back of your garden.
And it's bicolor too, and so we know bicolor is huge. So whether you have pink or purple flowers or white flowers, it just pairs nicely with your other annual color that you might bring in. But extremely hardy. This is also a zone 4 to 9. Our phlox was actually even hardier at 3 to 8, I believe. So a cool new variety.
Now that's a sampling, a tiny sampling of the Walters Gardens perennials here from Proven Winners for 2024. It's fascinating to be here at 4-Star Greenhouses during the peak of production when they're moving stuff in, but we noticed something interesting while we were here.
We did. Look at these new pots.
And you may have known about these Eco Plus Grande pots, zero plastic. These are made of like natural plant starches, so they're completely compostable. No plastic in them whatsoever. But what's fascinating, Jenzy was showing the sea of greenhouse here. 4-Star Greenhouses has put 100% of their Proven Winners production into these Eco Plus Grande pots.
That's right. So everything that 4-Star is shipping out is going out in these pots.
That's right. And as the other sizes become available, namely the quart size, which is a bit bigger, 200 milliliters bigger, that's all they're going to be using as well. So 4-Star is 100% committed to this compostable container that they're using. So and we've also heard that all of the online Proven Winners that are sold are also going to be these pots. So far there has been not only zero pushback from their customers, but they've been embracing it.
They're excited about it.
We've looked at Proven Winners annuals, but one of the other categories they do very well is woody ornamentals, shrubs, blooming shrubs, if you will, and they do that through partner Spring Meadow. And we've got somebody from Spring Meadow here. She is the lovely Natalie Carmoli. I was going to see, she said it's like cannoli, and I almost called her Natalie Cannoli. Anyway, Natalie, you are a PR specialist with Proven Winners
Color choice. Yep.
But you know a little bit about the plants, right? You're
I
not just
do.
one of those PR people.
I do. I could be, but I also am a shrub lover.
Oh, bring it on. So show us, you've got, I think, 5 different shrubs we're going to take a look at here today. Show us
All right.
what you've got.
Well, let's start out all the way over here to my left. This is a new camellia.
We're going to make her pick them all up, too. So she's got muscles.
Prove my strength. So this
Let's
is
get them.
Just Chill Red Tip. It's really clear to see why it's called red tip.
But we got to go back and we got to speak in species terms here, too.
Okay.
What is it?
A camellia.
Thank you very much. This is a camellia. And of course, our woody ornamental growers
Yes.
know that.
One of those easy to pronounce names that doesn't have another more difficult botanical name.
All right, and here's a picture. You see the beautiful pink flowers. Talk a little bit about bloom time, habit, things like that.
So for a camellia, the bloom time is in the fall. So it's one of those that brings that fall color into gardens and into greenhouses. But the reason it's called Just Chill Red Tip is if you look at this foliage, the new foliage is red. So it comes out this beautiful burgundy
See,
color.
When you first showed it, I was thinking Photinia, which
okay.
is a red-tipped plant,
Yeah,
right? But
right,
you know,
right.
oh, camellia, cool, it blooms, nice.
Yeah, so this is great red foliage. It has this kind of green midrib, and then it turns to this dark and lovely green. This is a broadleaf evergreen, so it's going to stay evergreen in USDA down to zone 7. We're testing it in 6B, but right now we can safely say that it's hardy down to USDA zone 7.
I believe Jen Palan's offered her 6B garden.
That's right.
That's right.
For
That's
trialing
right. I'll have to
purposes.
get you one of those. Yeah.
All right, put that one down. Show us
Okay.
what else you got here. This one's pretty. I like him. And this whole category's gotten really crazy popular lately, Spirea,
It is.
right?
It is. Probably because they're so beautiful. This is the 7th member of our Double Play series of Spirea. This one's called Double Play Dolly.
Why is it called Dolly? Do you know?
I don't know.
Named after the breeder's favorite donkey or something?
Could be, or the breeder's favorite singer.
Could be that too. Who knows?
But the thing that makes Double Play Dolly special is, like a lot of our Spirea, it starts out with these gorgeous dark burgundy tips, but this foliage will flush to a very bright chartreuse green color in the summer, and then it has that red flower that we like to see on Spirea, nice and vibrant in the landscape. So this is Double Play Dolly.
And then orange in the fall, right?
And then
So,
orange in the
That's what
fall.
amazed me. I think everybody loves about these plants. 3 seasons of foliage color plus the blooms.
Yeah, a great color story in any garden.
And you said also it's great in any kind of soil. It takes a lot of.
Highly adaptable to any kind of soil. It's very drought tolerant once it's established. That's why people really love it for landscaping. They like to mass plant them, but we're finding a lot of people are moving these into their home gardens as well, just because they're so showy.
Double Play Dolly.
Double Play Dolly.
Lovely plant. And this one caught everybody's eye as we
it's
looked around,
spectacular.
even amongst all the colorful annuals,
Right?
to find that much flower happening early in the spring. And it is, I should say, it's April 11th, April 12th, something like April 11th today.
This is the perfect time of year to show you a flowering quince. They love to flower early in the spring. This is the 4th color in our Double Take series of flowering quince. It blooms in the spring. You can see those double white blooms. We already had a red version, an orange version, a peach version, but this is a really elegant color, I think, with this white. This is a thornless flowering quince, thornless and without fruit.
Beautiful. Double Take
And
Eternal Light.
this tag plays an important role because it flowers so early that sometimes at retail it's a little bit hard to catch it while it's still in flower. So
Right.
making sure you have that beautiful flower on
I
the
want some
tag.
POP with that, or just find a way to build some excitement through your social media channels or something
Right,
like
yeah,
that. People
right.
love something that's blooming this time of year before anything else in the landscape other than maybe daffodils, right?
Right.
Yeah, this and lilacs, great early spring flower, but definitely get some POP to show people how great the flower is.
All right. Speaking of lilacs, did you just
Got
speak of
one.
lilacs?
I did.
Was that a coincidence?
Great segue.
So, I can
Ooh,
pick
look at
this
that.
guy up.
Oh, look at you.
This is Bloomerang Purpink.
Purpink.
What an interesting name.
We all wrote that down and said, hey, there's a new color. It really just comes down to indecision about what color these flowers Really are.
When this blooms, so this is pretty tightly budded right now, so it looks very dark purple. But once these little blossoms open, you're going to catch it from one angle and say, is that pink? I think it's pink. And then from
No,
another
it's
angle, it'll be
purple.
purple.
I think it's
So we're
purple.
just going to call it Purpink.
There you go. You can borrow that name if you want and make it a whole thing.
It's a nice compact size, and like the whole Bloomerang series, this will bloom in the spring and bloom again in the summer.
Yeah, they say give it a light trim after it blooms the first time.
it
and
will
that'll help.
encourage a stronger rebloom,
There
definitely.
you go. So don't be afraid to go in there and do a little trimming of the old spent buds, I guess.
And this is hardy down to 3?
Down to USDA Zone 3.
Down to 3.
Yeah.
But Chris, not to 9. It's down to,
Not
up
for my
to
Florida
7.
garden.
No, 3 to 7.
3 to
Yeah,
7.
This
Thanks.
is for you cold weather gardeners.
All right.
All right.
How about this last one? Can I put this in zone 9?
Yes.
Hey,
been watered.
Mucho gusto.
This is our newest Abelia. This is called Mucho Gusto. You can see it brings mucho color to the garden. These glorious variegated leaves. They have this margin that right now looks like a lime green margin, but in the sun it will turn a white color. This will give you a white, kind of clusters of white spring flowers that will persist throughout the summer all the way into the fall.
Yeah, another multi-use, flowers and beautiful foliage. I love a plant that looks good as much of the year as possible.
Right,
And you
right.
said this is almost ground cover like, where it's going to spread a little bit. Is this
It's
this
a
one?
lower one, but that is a different one that I was talking about.
Oh, I'm
But this
sorry.
one-
I got the wrong one.
This is a very compact Abelia,
Very
though, so it'll
compact.
fit in a lot of spaces. It is also drought tolerant once it's established. I mean, it will, let's say, it will survive a little bit of drought once established. So hardier than most when it comes to those periods of time when you're not getting a lot of water.
Beautiful. 5 lovely shrubs. You've got more though, I know, but this is what we were able
Oh,
to bring
we
here
have plenty,
early
yes.
on at 4-Star
Yes.
Greenhouses. 5 lovely shrubs from Proven Winners Color Choice and Spring Meadow Nurseries and Natalie Carmoli. Here's
That's
Natalie.
right.